on a revolution. Well, you know.
All right, Robbie Druzil, ExMortis here.
Which is police brutality and militarization of the police.
I'll tell you what, I could start this episode off with a nice story. Would anybody like to hear a nice story of something that happened to me today?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right, perfect. So I'm coming home from work. We meet up at my boss's house, which is right in Bradley's. And I could tell on the ride home, we drove from South Jersey. I was like, I had some bubble guts going on, you know what I'm saying? I had something brewing. So I get to the house, and like everybody was at the house. So I was like, man, I'm not about to blow it up in my father-in-law's house. You know, I was like, shit, my parents' house is right down the road, and they're out of town. So I'm like, I beeline it for the truck. I head down to Linden. I get to the house. Well, they're out of town right now, and you know, the house for sale are up in the Poconos. So I go in, open up the garage, go in the bathroom. I'm in there taking a fucking mean one, bro. I mean, it was just one of those ones, you know? 5 minutes into it, all of a sudden, the fucking garage door opens. It's the fucking realtor with people to show the house. The door's open in the bathroom. I'm in there taking a shit. I'm like, she's like, hello? I'm like, you want to give me a minute? I'll be right out. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. So I walk outside, and I guess you decided, because I was in the bathroom, to show the people the yard first. So I'm walking around. I'm like, where they at? Where they at? They're in the backyard. So they come walking around. I said, yeah, I just came by to get the mail and use the bathroom. I said, I'm out of here. You gonna lock up? She's like, yeah. Takes this couple, husband, wife, and their little kid, and we walk into the house. I'm walking to my truck, and all I hear is the little kid as he goes in the house. He goes, Mommy. He goes, what? It goes, smells like poop. The house. Like, Mommy, it smells like poop. I was like, son of a bitch.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know if I'll let my dad know that I probably just fucked up. Whoever was going to buy that house, I just blew the doors off that motherfucker right before they got there. So. It happens, right?
Yep.
Not like getting caught with your pants down with a realtor and people ready to buy a fucking house. That's got to be some awkward shit. I bet you they're at home tonight going, you'll never believe what happened to us today. Such is life. Keep it real, right?
Guess so.
Anybody else have any interesting thoughts, ideas, happenings in their life today?
No,
more of a
I worked
normal
in the
shit.
garden all day.
That makes one of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like a good idea to me. I think that's a nice plan. I would love to work on the garden all day.
Right?
I can set up.
Oh, Kevin told me a fucking something that we should talk about for one of our topics tonight, and if it's true, it's fucked up. But he said that every one of the Navy SEALs that ran the mission on Bin Laden is now dead.
My thoughts.
Wow.
Really?
Did not hear
I
that.
know a couple of them got shot at the gun range and all that weird shit went down, but all of them are dead now. I gotta Google that. If that's true, that's fucked up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's the chances? Guys from SEAL Team 6 are fucking all dead. I don't know if that's one of those conspiracy theory things, but, you know, maybe something we should touch on.
Right. That's pretty nuts if that's actually true.
See what you can dig up on that, Druzil.
I can't do shit but this on mine.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm confirmed. MSN News.
I got one screen, and I don't fuck with it, because last time I did that, it fucked everything up and started playing it back, remember? 2 nights in a fucking row with that shit.
There you go. I don't know if it's actually legit or not, but it's the first thing I found, so.
All right.
25 Navy SEALs who killed Osama bin Laden are dead. Okay, so 25. Maybe not all of them, but how many are in a SEAL Team 6 platoon, you know?
That's about it, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So 79 commandos and a dog were involved in the raid, so 25 out of them.
That's some fucked up shit. I mean, what's the chances, dude? Maybe they saw something? I don't know.
Supposedly 22 were killed in a helicopter shoot down.
That's
So
maybe coincidental then.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So what brought about, Rob, what brought about the subject of police and that whole bullshit? What are you thinking?
Just because this week alone, I've got like 3 videos of police brutality, and there's just been, I mean, watching those videos fucking pisses me off, man. Like the one This lady, I mean, this cop's just punching the shit out of her, kidney shots and shit.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Look at him punching the shit out of her.
Fucking jerk off.
Oh,
She wasn't pulling a knife on him or something, you know? We know the whole story before we start talking shit about this.
right. Well, this guy's telling the whole story here.
I was gonna say it looks unpleasant, but you never know. She might have been reaching for something. I don't know.
Right.
Playing devil's advocate, the chances are it's a asshole cop beating a fucking black chick. But
And when she was asked to stop, she continued ignoring the officer's command.
You hear it?
Ultimately,
yeah.
physically combative, it says.
Tape only shows a small part of what transpired. There were events that led up to this. All that's collected, put into perspective, we aren't going to be able to make a determination.
The eyewitness, who goes by the name David Diaz, says he saw exactly what led up to it before he started recording.
When you see the video, the first thing you hear is me laughing. The reason why is because before we got the video starting, they were playing like a Ring Around the Rosie behind that red truck. So it's a grown man and a grown woman running around the truck, and it's kind of like a Benny Hill moment, right? And she's avoiding him. He's trying to like get it. It's kind of like clumsy. It's almost like when we laugh when someone runs on the field in a baseball game.
He says she did eventually start walking towards the officer, and that is when the takedown began.
He grabs her, and she kind of like, does the resistance in terms of like natural reaction. And then he grabs her, throws her to the floor, and then gets on top of her, which then you would think, okay, he's just going to wrap her up, call it a day, another day in Los Angeles. But no, this wasn't the case.
The CHP says the woman, who carried no ID, was taken to hospital for a physical and mental evaluation.
The report indicated that the individual,
Everybody's smiling.
the officer didn't notice
Right.
anything on the individual.
Diaz has a hard time believing that after seeing and hearing this.
She didn't put up any restraint. She did what anyone else would do when they're getting pounded, is to go like this, to go like this.
That's fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't.
When
He's
did
just fucking wailing her.
You notice that cop cars don't even say serve and protect on the side anymore?
Yeah.
We're
That's
supposed to
true.
pay their salary, right? They're supposed to they're paid by us. It's like hired
I don't
security.
understand
Why cops feel the need to be over aggressive with people, you know?
Here, watch this one. This is the one that pissed me off.
Chicken winging her.
Look how big he is.
I know, right?
He gives her like
Holy
fucking
shit.
7 kidney shots.
And you look at his fucking throat in her, dude.
Look at him. He gives her like 7 kidney shots right here.
What the fuck?
Why would you do that to someone? A girl. A fucking girl, bro. You're 6'2". You can't handle a broad? And I say broad all the time. I don't mean that in a derogatory term towards women, but
I get it. God damn, though.
ah.
Just completely unnecessary. It's obvious he's aggressive from the start.
Bro, explain to me how 2 grown-ass men deem the situation requires this much violence to restrain a woman. I mean, what the fuck? 2 grown-ass motherfuckers can't fucking throw some cuffs on a fucking broad.
Well,
No.
look at the body language from the beginning. It's like it's very clear that they were going to have a very aggressive stance from the beginning of it.
Yeah. Going to court, I know how this shit works out. They go to court and they
Oh, yeah.
say he demonstrated. They thought, I understand this. I'll play the asshole in this scenario. Okay, from a cop standpoint, your job every day is they have to worry about getting stabbed with a crack stem in the neck. They have to worry about getting HIV needles. I understand that to an extent, but that you can easily assess a situation to determine whether your life's in jeopardy or not, where you need to use force like that. Oh, god damn. Play the video.
Damn.
You know how hard those benches are, dude.
Oh, they're concrete.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like that, for example. There's just not even really any point of
Look at her.
contention.
She's 100 pounds soaking wet. What the fuck was
Battered her cheekbone.
What is that, $1 on the floor?
Her shoes.
Shoes, yeah.
Oh.
All she did was ask to use the phone to call her husband. I mean, don't you know that there's fucking cameras in here?
Shit,
You know,
they
how
don't
stupid
care.
are they? The guy's on the hood of his car. He knows there's a camera in the car. This guy, they know there's cameras in the jail.
Let me tell you a little story about that.
Do it.
All right, so now I told you I work for. Well, I didn't tell you who I work for, but I work with some police here,
Yeah.
and man, a lot of them cops. It's no responsibilities, right? Just do whatever the hell they want, gun and a badge, just whatever, right? They make whatever decisions they want, and any sort of repercussions for their actions are pretty much null and void.
Right.
So this year we started putting video cameras and like recorders and stuff on their person and in a lot of the police vehicles we have, and like the first question we got asked when we started putting them in was, well, like, is there like a way to turn these off? Like, is there like a way we can like shut off the one that's on them when they're outside the car, or is there like a way we can turn off the camera in the back seat? This is coming from the chief of police, okay? Like, this isn't like some random dude asking me this.
Wow.
So, I mean, so obviously, me being like a moral person, I lied and I just said no. There's no way for us to turn them off, even though there is.
Right.
So, but the thing is, this is the kind of mentality that a lot of, at least in my opinion, a lot of police officers sort of exhibit. They might not necessarily be assholes, but a lot of them definitely will not take responsibility for their actions.
Yeah,
so like,
it's the principle. I'm glad you told him that.
So in a case like that, where you've got, maybe they have a camera, but in the end of all of that, really what it comes down to is, they might get back to the station, and then maybe they figure out a way to get rid of the video. I mean, this isn't uncommon practice at all. So it wouldn't really surprise me.
I got another video that I'll bring up in a little bit. It's probably like 10, 15 different people going to police stations asking for like a complaint form, and like all the shit that these cops give the people.
Yep. Yeah, I watched some of the videos you posted in there. I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I mean, like and you know what? I'll tell you something about that too. So now we have the same thing. It's called a right to know request or a complaint form or any of that shit, like where you're either requesting public information or you're trying to file a complaint about an officer or some sort of experience that you've had with the police force. And I will tell you now, the cops here, they're not like that. I mean, like, they're not going to chase you and fucking, and try to haul your ass in because you're trying to complain about one of them. But I will tell you, the fucking code is real, okay? They do stand up for each other. They do try and cock block you from being able to file complaints. And this isn't a big town. I think it's probably much more prevalent in higher, more densely populated areas where, like, say for example, Philadelphia. There's a lot, even less responsibility for an individual who's a police officer who works, as a police officer out of Philadelphia, because there's so much shit going on. It's kind of like it's really easy not to catch and see everything that's going on, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like here,
PD is like bigger than the Coast Guard. It's like huge.
it's fucking huge.
But I totally agree. I think we got some good input tonight. Being that the police is a topic, Rob, with his job, that's pretty cool shit he's got.
Yeah, hell yeah. We got our inside man.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was just thinking.
But
I gotta step out, let my dog in. I'll be right back.
No problem. But yeah, this shit definitely does happen. It's not a delusion or fictitious in any way. It's just, I mean, it's all right. Like, even working with the agency, for the agency, right? Well, actually, I work above them, but still, I do work for them. And even being in that position, I still have a hard time getting information about stuff, accurate information, or really know what's going on behind the scenes. But from the glimpses and shit that I get, I mean, there's definitely stuff that goes on, even in small towns like where I live, So I can imagine in bigger places it's even worse. And that's why I can see this kind of shit, like police brutality, kind of being rampant in larger places. Plus, you got to take in mind too, think about it like this. The kind of people who are police officers that are physically violent for pretty much no reason, right? It would only make sense to me that psychologically they'd be drawn to an area which has a higher rate of crime, a higher rate of violence, because it's going to give them more action.
Right.
So I mean, those two things coupled, I think, kind of works out to
Yeah, and they can hide in the system, you know. They
exactly.
But it's a certain kind of person too. Like I said, it's that hall monitor personality. You know, cops have that thing. They want to be in charge. They want to control the situation.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what, I learned a lot from one of these videos. Like what you'd have to tell them and what you don't. You just say, no thanks, I'd like to be on my way, officer.
Yes, you can.
It's my business.
Well, it's our business to ask. Are you a citizen or not?
You can ask, that's fine.
You don't have to answer. I have to detain you until you can either tell me that you're.
Well, I don't have to answer you because I have rights as an American.
Sir, go ahead and pull over there behind that other vehicle. You do me a favor.
No thanks.
Right?
No. No, thank you. No.
What's up, man?
What's up?
All right. Can we have you pull in secondary, please?
No, thank you. I'd like to go free on my way. You know, I thought this is America. I thought I had some freedom to travel unmolested, and I'm just trying to go about my business here. You know, I don't have time to play games with you guys. I don't know what you think you're doing here. No, thank you. No thanks. I want to go free on my way. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I stumble into Mexico or is it still the United States? Okay, well then therefore I should have the freedom to travel unmolested because I'm in America here. So,
Well, go ahead, puppy.
go ahead and go where?
Go on the road.
Okay, see you later.
Easy as that.
That's how it happens, bro. I wish I would have watched all these videos before I had my little run-in.
If they don't suspect you of a crime, they can't detain you. They can't.
Legally.
You have to, they have to have evidence, man. They have to have, you know, full cause.
Just to make that clear, yeah, legally they can't detain you.
No, but what is the reason to want to check my trunk?
Just cause.
What country are you a citizen?
What's the purpose of the stop?
Immigration checkpoint.
Okay, what's the scope of the stop?
Immigration checkpoint. Of what country are you a citizen?
Who do you work for?
U.S. Border Patrol.
Am I being detained?
No, I'm asking you a simple question.
Am I free to go?
I'm asking you a question. You need to answer my question.
Am I being detained?
You need to answer my question, sir.
Am I being detained?
Sir, you need to answer my question.
Am I being detained? I would like to go on my way if I'm not being detained. Am I being detained?
You need to answer my question.
Telling you. I'm asking you if I'm being detained.
I'm just asking you, for the purposes of immigration, I need to ask you what country you're a citizen.
Am I being detained?
I'm asking you, are you being, what country?
Am I free to go?
You need to answer my question.
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way?
You need to answer my question.
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way?
Pull over to secondary.
Are you refusing to allow me to go on my way? Am I being detained?
I'm asking you to pull over to secondary.
Am I being detained?
Can you pull over to secondary, please?
Am I being detained?
I'm
Not how it
asking
works, honey.
immigration. You need to pull over to
Am I being detained?
the secondary.
You've told me now that I'm not being detained. Am I free to go?
Sir, can you answer my question?
Am I being detained?
For the purposes of immigration, I need to ask you what country you're a citizen.
For
You
the
can ask me
purposes
whatever
of
you want. Am I
immigration.
being detained?
You are not being detained, sir.
Am I free to go? Okay, she's now
You know what?
looking around my vehicle. I'm free to go?
Have a good day.
Good morning.
Am I free to go?
Yeah, are you a U.S. citizen?
Am I free to go?
As soon as you answer the question, you're a U.S. citizen.
Sir, am I free to go?
As soon as you answer the question, you're a U.S. citizen.
Where's the border at?
It's 50 miles that way, sir.
50 miles?
So, actually, we're at the 20-mile marker, so it's actually 30 miles.
Yeah. Did I cross it?
No, sir. Give me a second. Sir, as soon as I'm satisfied you're a U.S. citizen, you can go on your way.
What's your name?
My name is Ethan Donnelly. It's right there.
Donnelly. What's your badge number?
I don't have my badge. How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
Am I free to go, sir?
Well, sir, we need to find out if there's anybody else with you. Are you holding anybody else with you?
Am I free to go?
Not yet. Not until we find out if you have anybody with you.
I plead the Fifth Amendment, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Then why is that? Do you have anything to hide? Are you breaking the law right now?
See, it has nothing.
Am I breaking the law?
Do you have anybody else back there?
Am I free to go?
Do you have anybody else back there?
What's your name?
You know what my name is. You have a name tag. What is
Zavala? Is that correct?
What is that you're hiding in there? You hiding anything? Tell me.
He's trying to stump him right there.
Are you hiding anything?
Am I free to go?
Are you hiding anything in there?
He's just trying to get anything out of him.
We can stay all day here playing your little game.
Okay.
You have a problem with law enforcement?
I choose not to answer any more questions, sir. Not without a lawyer present.
All right.
Okay.
I appreciate next time you come through here, you be more cooperative so that you can make our job easier.
Can't do shit, motherfucker.
Next time you come through here.
Respectfully, sir, I do not have to answer that question. Sir, are you a citizen?
I don't have to answer that question, sir.
What's that?
I don't have to answer that question. I'm sorry.
What country are you a citizen of? Again, I'm sorry, I don't have to answer that question, sir. I would like to travel freely down the road.
Pull in lane 2 over there then.
No, thank you. I just want to travel down the road.
No, actually you have to. I'm ordering you to park over there in lane 2.
Why is
This
that,
is an
sir?
immigration inspection, and you are not satisfying my need that you are a U.S. citizen.
Well, see, you have to have a reasonable suspicion to ask me that. What is your reasonable suspicion?
Supervisor in car 1.
I'm doing well, sir. Again, like I've explained, I'm a private citizen. I like to fully travel down this road without having to answer questions from federal agents. Unless we're living in a police state, unless this is Mexico or Nazi Germany, it's still America, and I can travel down this road without having to answer questions from federal agents.
And all you have to do is say I'm a U.S. citizen and
Right.
you'll be on your way.
But this is a
instead
matter.
You're making a big deal about
This is a
it.
matter of principle to me, sir.
Sir, the fact that you're not answering an immigration question is the necessary suspicion I have to send you to second.
You asked me that question before I refused to answer. So what was the suspicion that I was alien? Right.
Are you willing to answer the question?
We just want to go on our way, sir.
Are you a U.S. citizen or
Do you have a suspicion I'm not? We just want to go on our way.
I don't want to hold up traffic. I want to freely travel down the road. May I do that? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, fucking sticking it to the man.
See that, Laredo? That is how you resist tyranny, and that is how you resist a warrantless, unconstitutional checkpoint.
Are you an American citizen? Answer that question. Okay, well then we're going to be here for a while. Sir, are you an American citizen? Are you detaining us? Yeah, do you have any ID on me? Am I under arrest, officer? You're being detained, yes. Because I can't discern whether or not you're an American citizen. That's my job. I know the Constitution very well, don't I? I know the Constitution even better. Do you have any ID? Are you detaining everyone? I'm detaining everyone. Just let them go? Well, I can get out. Here's the thing. I'm going to keep you overnight. Whatever you want to do, kid. It's up to you. I'm an adult. I'm a former U.S. Marine. I don't know this.
You mind shutting the camera, please?
Why is that?
What's that?
Why is that?
Why is that? Because I would just like to know if you can shut the camera for me, please.
For what?
So that you're just not filming me. That's all I'm talking about.
That's my right to, sir.
It's okay. You can do whatever you want. I was just asking if you could do that. Do you mind rolling down the window, please?
Well, it's as much as I feel like rolling it down, sir.
Excuse me?
It's as much as I'm going to roll it down, sir.
That's as much as you're going to roll it down,
Yes.
sir? Okay. Can you shut off the vehicle, please, ma'am? Can you please shut off the vehicle?
Ma'am?
You don't mind
What's the purpose of this stop, sir?
The purpose of this stop is an immigration checkpoint, sir. Okay? You were instructed just a minute ago by the person at point to come over to secondary for further inspection, and you guys just ran the point.
No, not at all. He waved us by.
He didn't wave you by. He waved you over here. That's why we stopped you right there just a second ago.
Oh, we thought we waved us by. I apologize for that. You know, I didn't.
Brian said continue to go on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He did it with the other cars, and he told us to wait to go on. That's
go here.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah, so you come right over.
He was waving just like the other cars that kept going. Same hand signal, same everything.
Now, if you don't mind shutting up the vehicle, please, and come out, please, real quick.
Do I have to get out of the car?
Well, so I can run checks on you, sir.
Do I have to get out of the car?
Either that, or I'm going to extract you out of the car, sir, because you're impeding me.
Extract you out of the car.
As far as information and running checks on you. I don't know if you're an act felon, sir. I don't know what you're.
Is there any reason to suspect that I am?
Well, as of what just happened right now, there's a possibility.
It was a misunderstanding, sir.
I understand if it's a misunderstanding, then there should be no reason why your hand is shaking or why you wouldn't be.
I got asthma, sir. That's why my hand's shaking.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, I have a hard time breathing.
Misunderstanding, then there should be no reason why the normal person would allow us to run checks on their identification to see if they happen to have criminal history or anything else like that.
Is there a reason to believe that we do?
There is as of right now because you're not.
What is that? What is that reason?
Well, you're not being cooperative.
That doesn't give you guys a reason to run my name or check my papers or anything.
It gives us more than a reason to do that, sir. Especially after what we just saw right now. Would you guys go?
We got the same wave through as everybody else did, sir.
Excuse me?
We got the same wave through as everybody else did, sir.
According to him, you did. According to him, he sent you aside right now.
Yeah, because I have a camera and I'm recording you guys. You wanted me to shut my camera off?
I asked you to. Okay, if you don't want to, that's up to you. But as far as you impeding us doing our job, okay, that's a big difference right there. Okay, you have all the right.
I have no problem with you guys doing your job, sir.
Sir, you have all the right in the world, okay, to use that camera and videotape, okay? But as far as you impeding our job of what we're supposed to do here at the checkpoint, okay?
What is your job?
Our job here, okay, our job here, is, as far as this, is to see your immigration, okay?
Isn't that like Nazi Germany where we have to show our papers?
No, it's not, sir.
Ain't that what we're against?
No. Okay, I'm gonna need you to come to the side here so we can get a plan of.
No, you're not.
No, we're not gonna do that. We don't have anything. We're not gonna do that.
Well, I need to conduct an inspection. Let me call my supervisor then.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey Rob, let's break to a fucking quick story I want to throw in here. Pause this.
I need to find your probable cause as to why you would doubt when I said no. She's upset because she's so she's kind of
like a bus.
But I need to know your probable cause.
Cause we think you might be.
What's your probable cause on that?
Agricultural commodities, fruit.
Fruit.
That makes you feel this.
Fruit.
Well, we don't have it.
Right. We're able to go from state to state without unconstitutional Fourth Amendment checkpoints.
I see. So
right. I don't have any tomatoes, and I don't have any oranges. So what else do you need?
I'm not gonna take your word for it.
You're not getting in a vehicle without a warrant.
I'm
telling you that.
What I need you to do is.
So where's your warrant and your probable cause?
Your vehicle over.
No, what gave you the probable cause? What gave you probable cause to think
traveling on this road? You're in a motorhome.
That automatically makes somebody.
A refrigerator in there.
So what?
We will send you back out of state.
What guidelines?
On what right do you have to send us out of state?
Oh, so he's a criminal now, right?
Coming in any office, and we're not letting you in this vehicle without a warrant.
This is the world we live in, dude, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
We just want to be on our
Fucking
way.
Border Patrol.
You're not leaving. You need to go back.
We're not going back. We're going into the state of What authority do you have to tell me to leave the state?
Come on in the office.
I'm not coming in any office. I'm not exiting this vehicle, and you're not getting in here without a warrant.
Why?
No. Am I being detained?
I guess if you wanted to.
No, I'm asking you.
Out of here, you could do that.
Am I being detained? Am I being detained? I'm asking you.
This guy's been horribly stumped.
So, am I being detained?
I like
progress is stopped.
I like how the officers always try to create an illusion of authority. You see how they do that?
Yep.
But they're very careful. If you choose your words properly, you know what I mean?
Crime. Are we free to go?
Yep. Trying to make you psychologically defensive.
And then claim you're nervous.
Right.
I need to inspect to make sure.
It's that Jedi mind trick shit.
Right?
Arizona.
Under what authority?
I just wanted you.
I have the right to travel the United States without being.
Dude's got a fucking book. Another cop. Horribly trumped.
He's like, carry the binder out to the truck. It'll make us look.
I swear, I promise, it's in this book. It says somewhere in here. I just don't remember the page.
Somewhere in here it says that I'm totally out of line for stopping you. I swear.
Where you been today?
There you go, sir.
Where you heading to?
Go ahead.
Just trolling him.
No. No, thank you. No.
That's great. I learned a lot from that video right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, you got to know how to talk to a cop, you know?
We got a border patrol station here, right? Why? Because I'm next to a fucking lake because Canadians are swimming over like crazy? Like, what the fuck? So.
That's crazy, man.
There were some investigations done about that, about Border Patrol, where they were talking about Border Patrol looking at trying to track and monitor certain potentially lethal, quote-unquote, terrorist organizations.
Right.
And they found that the majority of what they were actually tracking was primarily organizations which are against this kind of, you know,
right.
Like presence.
Yeah.
Protest.
Oh, I got some documents and shit too. I got to show you guys somehow.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Whenever we speak up for our rights, when does that become a terrorist act? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're quick to just pull the terror card whenever you don't want to comply, but it's like that's the beauty of this country. That's what we were founded on, not being hassled by a fucking man. You know?
Yep. This video is 3 minutes long. It's pretty good, and then I'll show you these documents that they have all this shit written down, like who's a terrorist and what to watch out for. It's fucking crazy.
What crime am I suspected of committing? And you just pointed that gun at me.
You just pointed that gun at me.
You twisted it, pointed it right at me. Like before you actually you pointed it right at my legs. People are calling about a guy walking around with a gun. So okay, that's not illegal. Can I have my gun back and get moving along?
Need your ID, and then we'll get you on your way.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Like I said, people are starting to call about a guy carrying a gun.
Yep, that's a report of illegal activity. What crime do you suspect me of committing? In order to stop me, you have to suspect me of a crime. Can you get your supervisor here?
He is on the way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but like I said, people are concerned. It's a public safety issue. So I'm here to make sure everyone's all set. Make sure you're all set. Okay, so I just need to get your ID. So we call it good.
No, sir.
You're not going to give me your ID.
Unless you are issuing me a summons as 17A, 15A
I need to make sure
requires, then...
Can you let me speak for a second? Yep. I need to make sure you're not a felon carrying this.
Do you suspect me of being a felon?
I don't know you. So
okay, if you don't suspect me of being a felon, then I would like my gun back and I would like to proceed on my way.
In order to carry a gun, you're not allowed to be a felon.
Correct, but unless you suspect me of being a felon, there's no reason for you to stop me.
There is a reason to stop you.
Unless you suspect me of a crime, as Terry v. Ohio, Delaware v. Prouse, requires you to have a suspicion of crime before you detain an individual. Brown v. Texas does not allow you to stop an individual and demand their ID.
Can I get your first name so I can speak to you on a person-to-person basis here?
No.
You're not going to give me your...
Nope, I'm not going to...
You're that type of guy when we're trying to have a conversation.
I'm sorry, sir, but for my own protection, I would rather not give you anything because any name I give you is going to go in the police report about this incident.
There's going to be no police report.
There's a police log generated for every call.
It's called a pedestrian.
Yep. And unless you have a reasonable suspicion that I'm committing a crime, you can't detain me. I have to be free to leave. It has to be a consensual encounter, sir.
Here's the deal, sir. You are walking down Congress Street carrying a gun.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that illegal?
It's a cause for concern.
Do you suspect me of committing a crime?
Sure.
Do you suspect me of carrying a crime, committing a crime, yes or no?
Sure. I need...
Do we not have to write the fucking bear arms in this country? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's the buckle for the suspenders.
This is common practice.
Makes me fucking angry, bro.
Common practice.
It's not illegal. You see a guy walking...
Common practice. Notice how you avoid certain words?
The reason why you stop me,
yes.
That I'm carrying a gun.
Yes.
Okay, in that case, I want you to refer you to DeBerry v. U.S. DeBerry v. U.S. says that a firearm, where legally carried, cannot be the only cause for reasonable suspicion for a stop.
Yep.
Am I free to go?
Sure.
Okay, can I have my gun back?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, like that?
Boom, like that.
Them apples. Mm-hmm.
I got fucked for the same reason, not knowing how to talk to a cop, and now I do. I guess we're taking a break for a minute, Rob, or you got more videos?
No more videos.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll tell what happened to me, and we could maybe
yeah, go ahead.
You and Mortis can elaborate maybe for me. I got stopped one night. I came out of a restaurant. I met Chipotle's dad. It was a Monday night. I got off at 6. It was like 7:45. I stopped by Quick Check in Raritan in my work truck, which was not registered to me. I get out of the truck. I'm gonna get a sub made. I walk into the liquor store. I get beer, whatever the hell I got. Walk out, and a cop stops me and goes, "Excuse me." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I need you to put your hands up and walk this line." Instantly into a sobriety check, dude.
Wow.
And I refused it. I said, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah, I need you to put your hands up." I was like, "Are you asking for a field sobriety?" He didn't even ask me if I was drinking first. So I was like, "Dude, you gotta understand, I know my rights. I used to be in the military, and when I was in, I got pulled for MP duty. And I'll tell you what, it was kind of a blessing, dude, because to sit there and watch cops and talk to them and learn what they're allowed to do and not allowed to do, I knew he couldn't just stop me and ask me for no reason. I mean, I wasn't showing any signs of inebriation. I had been drinking, but I wasn't messed up. I wasn't driving. The keys weren't in the car. I didn't have the keys on me. I didn't have the keys on me. They were in the van. So, long story short, they tried to charge me with a DWI. I refused the breathalyzer. I refused all tests. And in court, I beat the DUI and I beat everything else, but I had to plea to a refusal because in the state of New Jersey, if you sign on the dotted line for your driver's license, if any officer asks you to submit to a sobriety check, that's what I was told.
Right.
You have to
signed the contract agreeing to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got fucked, dude, because I didn't know the law and I didn't know how to talk to a cop. So, I mean, it's just shit that's kind of important that we're talking about tonight. This can save you a lot of fucking headache, man.
Yeah, totally. This right here is Missouri Information Analysis Center. And I guess every few years they write. Well, this is basically like the current threats in the United States, domestic terrorism. Academics contend that female and minority empowerment in the 70s and 60s caused a blow to the white male's sense of empowerment. This, combined with a sense of defeat from the Vietnam War, increased levels of immigration and unemployment, spawned a paramilitary culture. This caught on in the 1980s with injects such as Tom Clancy novels, Soldier of Fortune magazine, and movies such as Rambo that glorified combat. This culture glorified white males and portrayed them as morally upright heroes who were mentally and physically tough. So right there, they're basically portraying white males as terrorists, as what to look for. So if they're going to profile anybody as being a terrorist in America, they're looking for a white male right now.
Right.
It was during this time frame that many individuals and organizations began to concoct conspiracy theories to explain their misfortunes. These theories varied, but almost always involved the globalist dictatorship, the New World Order, NWO, which conspired to exploit the working class citizens. United Nations troops were thought to already be operating in the United States in support of the NWO. Much of this rhetoric would become anti-Semitic, claiming that the Jews controlled the monetary system and media, and in turn the Zionist-occupied government, ZOG, the militia of Montana, became a key organization in pushing right-wing rhetoric and informing individuals on how to form militia organizations. A series of incidents in the early 90s caused a surge of militia participation to the Weaver family at Ruby Ridge, 12-day standoff that resulted in the death of one federal agent and the wife of Senator Randy Weaver. Following February 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian complex in Waco, Texas, resulted in the death of 82 Davidians and 4 law enforcement agents. November 93, the enacting of the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act of 92 additionally fueled the movement. The movement reached its peak in 96 with over 850 groups believing to be operating within the U.S. Additional motivators, Ammunition Accountability Act, which is where they put like basically a barcode on every single bullet.
Right.
Anticipation of the economic collapse of the U.S. government. Now here's a map of the North American Union. Canada, United States, and Mexico are supposed to join up, and like the European Union, we're supposed to be the North American Union. They're gonna be under one currency called the Amero,
which they've talked about that.
Yeah, I mean that's
been talked about publicly.
Bush signed this into law already. It's basically for trade and shit, and you know. But that's an actual government map, but yet they deny it. So Kansas City is going to be the new hub. Universal Service Program. Statements made by Obama led extremists to fear the creation of a civilian defense force. Theory requires all citizens between the ages of 18 and 25 to be forced to attend 3 months of mandatory training. And
Soviet Russia.
Yep. RFID chips. Fear that government will enforce mass RFID human implantations. The process would make it possible for the government to continually know the locations of all citizens. These are the ideologies of most of the militia movements. Either Christian identity, religious ideology popular in extreme right-wing circles. Adherents believe that whites of European descent can be traced back to the lost tribes of Israel. Many consider Jews to be the satanic offspring of Eve and the serpent, or Lilith, while non-whites are mud people created before Adam and Eve. Then there's the white nationalists, basically white supremacists, neo-Nazi skinheads, anti-Semitic, anti-immigration, anti-government. And then there's the sovereign citizens. Individuals see themselves as sovereign citizens. They question the legitimacy of the federal government. They argue that the government has gotten away from the intent of the Constitution and thus not valid. These groups are strong states' rights advocates, but see the county sheriff as the highest position of authority. These groups and individuals are well known for failure to register vehicles and driving without licenses, basically because if you sign your license, you agree that you're a citizen, and so.
Right.
Militant abortion. Anti-abortionists have been known to take up arms. Eric Rudolph was responsible for bombing abortion clinics. Tax resistors. This movement is strongly in opposition to the collection of federal income tax. Individuals in this movement generally believe that income taxes are invalid or the tax laws do not apply to them. Anti-immigration. Some militia organizations have been formed solely for the purpose of countering the threat of illegal immigration. We all know what that's about.
Oh, yeah.
Now, training, the utilization of MilSim. Militia members have been attending military simulation events. Basically, one militia versus another one in mock combat. Realistic combat sports in which two forces, sometimes up to the platoon level, utilize paintball, airsoft, or Miles gear to conduct realistic war games. There's militia and survival training events. Regional training events being held with the intent of teaching individuals how to establish militia organizations. Some events have been set up in order to prepare for joint operations between military organizations. Communications. The use of shortwave radios for communication and broadcast is common among most militia groups. These groups communicate through forums, Yahoo groups, blogs, and social networking sites. Websites, online talk shows have been established to push rhetoric, usually a skewed version of current events. Skewed version.
Yeah.
Recruitment. Militias are recruiting members and supporters through the following means: gun shows, online forums, websites, social networking sites, and informal social networks. The organization. There's public groups. Organizations hold training events that are open to the public and generally recruit publicly. Underground groups primarily adhere to the principles of Louis Beam's philosophy of leaderless resistance. The philosophy advocates small autonomous cells driven by ideology rather than by the direction of leaders. These groups are difficult to gather intelligence on, as no one outside of the cell would be aware of the organization or its plans. Individuals or lone wolves have also been known to adhere to the principles of leaderless resistance in order to perform or plot acts of violence. Committees of safety. Organizations established to lobby government officials and confront corruption. Most of those are controlled by militias. Covenant militia communities. Community of militia members that attempt to create a sovereign township. In the 1990s, there were an estimated 8 of these communities identified across the country. So basically, they get a group of people and they say we're no longer in the United States.
Right,
So,
like essentially like a commune or whatever you want to call it.
right, a commune, and then they I don't know if they annex or what's it called when they secede.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, implications for law enforcement. There are significant differences between the 1990s era militias and those of today. Most notably, today they are highly trained. Today they have leadership training, and law enforcement is the enemy. Implications for Missouri. This is Missouri. Right-wing extremists believe that there are at least 3 FEMA concentration camps in the state of Missouri. The North American Union, Kansas City is supposed to be the hub of the North American Union. That's in Missouri. Federal Reserve banks, that's going to be a target. National Guard facilities and federal buildings or facilities. And here's where it gets interesting. The common militia symbols. So it's going to go through common militia symbols, political and anti-government rhetoric, political paraphernalia. Militia members most commonly associate with third-party political groups. It's not uncommon for militia members to display Constitutional Party, Campaign for Liberty, or Libertarian material. These members are usually supporters of former presidential candidate Ron Paul, Chuck Baldwin, and Bob Barr.
Yep.
So if you're a libertarian or you like Ron Paul or any of those guys, then you could be on a list somewhere. Anti-government propaganda. Militia members commonly display picture, cartoons, bumper stickers that contain anti-government rhetoric. Most of this material would depict the FRS. What's the FRS? Government agency. Anyway, FRS, IRS, FBI, ATF, CIA, UN, law enforcement, and the New World Order in a derogatory manner. Additionally, racial, anti-immigration, and anti-abortion material may be displayed by militia members. So here's the militia symbols.
Federal Reserve System.
Yeah.
That's
Federal Reserve
System. Yeah.
So here's the militia symbols. Don't tread on me. The Gadsden flag. The most common symbol displayed by militia members and organizations. So if you have that flag, you're a terrorist. And this other, the Hooteree militia. This is Michigan's.
So this is basically old school constitutionalist type Americana, really.
Yeah, exactly. If they want to get back to the Constitution, they're now labeled as terrorists according to this. And there's the Greek flag over here. That's Malone Lab all the way to the right. That's from the movie 300. It means over my dead body.
Right.
So if you have a flag like this, or a flag, which means like this international, that's a symbol of distress. 9 stripes in the middle, that's the Sons of Liberty. And on the right is the First Navy Jack. It also may have the rattlesnake and Don't Tread on Me on it, but you could be a terrorist if you have those. And literature and media common to the militia. So if you watch the movie Zeitgeist, you could be a terrorist. America, Freedom to Fascism, an anti-income tax film. And the Turner Diaries. So if they put Zeitgeist and Freedom to Fascism next to the Turner Diaries, which is a novel that depicts violent revolution of the United States government and a war that leaves only a white population. They basically kill all the cops and kill all the black people, everybody, so there's only white people. And they put that next to Zeitgeist and Freedom to Fascism movie. Unbelievable. Here's this disclaimer on the bottom. All information contained in this newsletter should be considered law enforcement sensitive. Further distribution of information in this newsletter is restricted to law enforcement officers and agencies, intelligence agencies, and Department of Defense organizations only, unless prior approval is obtained from the published source. No report or segment thereof may be released to any media sources. Civil and criminal penalties may exist for misuse, and persons or organizations violating this policy will be removed from all distribution lists. Ooh. The information herein may not be MIAC-originated intelligence unless noted. Therefore, the annotated original agencies in the newsletter should be contacted, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, they're saying that this is law enforcement eyes only, and it's just ridiculous.
And this is actually fairly similar, because what I was talking about or referring to earlier is a different report, but it's actually by Border Control. And part of the studies is there's a lot of similarity where they're talking about their analysis shows essentially the same kind of thing. Again, any sort of references or associations with your indifferences to the way that things are working right now, or old school constitutionalism, or more state power, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Particular political views, or being again someone who just doesn't believe that it's working right now.
Yeah, and you're labeled a terrorist for that.
Essentially, yeah, you're red flagged.
So this is a U.S. Army document. You can get it right now from like the Army.mil website. Civilian Inmate Labor Program. If that doesn't scare you right there, I mean,
installations.
It's the Army, which is under the Posse Comitatus Act. The military cannot assist law enforcement, and they cannot. They're not supposed to be anything domestic. They're supposed to stay away from all that.
Right.
This document basically has the whole outline for how to enact this civilian inmate labor program. And it goes on to say that why they do it. It goes for establishing and maintaining civilian inmate labor programs on Army installations. It provides guidance on establishing prison camps on Army installations. It addresses record keeping and reporting incidents related to the civilian inmate labor program and or prison camp administration. Civilian inmate labor programs benefit both the Army and correction systems by 1. Providing a source of labor at no direct labor cost to the Army installations to accomplish tasks that would not be possible otherwise due to the manning and funding constraints under which the Army operates.
So, slavery.
Yeah.
Essentially.
2. Providing meaningful work for inmates, and in some cases, additional space to alleviate overcrowding in nearby corrections facilities. So once they fill up all the prisons, they're going to start them up on Army bases.
Yeah, slave labor, essentially.
Yeah. Cost-effective use of buildings and land not otherwise being used.
Yeah, but that's pretty disturbing. Have you ever seen any of the reports on the FEMA camps?
Yeah.
That too. That's potentially scary.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Everybody that's on these lists, they're just putting everybody on them. They're gonna just put them in a friggin' prison, or what do they call it? FEMA. What do they call it?
FEMA internment camp.
Internment camp.
Basically, like the old internment camps they had for Japanese people.
Japanese, yep.
There you go. Pretty much the same concept.
Yeah, well, that's actually what they actually did was just modernize the old ones that they had. That's the first place they went.
Exactly. And it's already been proven there are already places like this that are kind of like, they're not really on the grid as far as, they're not listed or publicly, they're not publicly portrayed as being an internment camp. But back when they were starting to investigate, terrorism in regard to 9/11, there was a bunch of these damn internment camps that opened up where they imprisoned people for having some sort of association or tie with any sort of Islamic background at all, just meaning they came from there or whatever they deemed necessary. So it's not like this shit ever really went away.
Fucking nuts.
Just gets updated. Absolution of control.
This is interesting here. Under no circumstances will the following types of inmates be permitted in the civilian inmate labor program. A person in whom there is significant public interest as determined by the corrections facility. B, a person who has been a significant management problem in their current corrections facility. C, a principal organized crime figure. D, an inmate convicted of a sex offense. E, an inmate convicted of a violent crime. F, an inmate convicted of the sale or intent to distribute illegal drugs, who held a leadership position in any drug conspiracy, or has been involved with drugs within the last 3 years while in prison. G, an escape risk. H, an inmate who poses a threat to the general public. I, inmate declared or found insane. J, inmate convicted of arson. K, a federal inmate convicted while on active duty. F, Army personnel.
Right, that makes sense. So essentially, the most compliant individuals they'll have the least risk of posing any sort of, again, basically the most submissive individuals that will be easily directed towards slavery, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting, signed by Obama. Establishment of the Council of Governors. Basically, it's like a continuity of government type thing. In case, well, it'll say here. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including Section 1822 of the National Defense Authorization Act of 2008, in order to strengthen further the partnership between the federal government and state governments to protect our nation and its people and property, hereby ordered as follows. Council of Governors. There is established a Council of Governors. The council shall consist of 10 state governors appointed by the President, of whom no more than 5 shall be of the same political party. The term of service for each member appointed to serve the council may be 2 years, but a member may be reappointed for additional terms. The President shall designate 2 members who shall not be members of the same political party to serve as co-chairs of the council. So basically, the President chooses 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans. Their functions: the council shall meet at the call of the Secretary of Defense or the co-chairs of the council to exchange views, information, and advice with the SecDef and the Secretary of Homeland Security, Assistant, all these people, or advice. Their advice shall, such views, information, or advice shall concern matters involving the National Guard of the various states. B, Homeland Defense. C, Civil Support. D, synchronization, integration of the state and federal military activities in the United States. So that's state and federal military activities in the United States. E, other matters of mutual interest pertaining to National Guard, Homeland Defense, Civil Support. So it's basically a council of governors that's going to run the country.
Right.
After the martial law is declared.
As long as it's even portions of both ideals, you know what I mean?
No, we need to elect our fucking leaders, not appointed by the president.
I understand that, but I'm saying in principle, a lot of these votes get decided, they get caught, you know, they're a stalemate. So it's like, I don't know how you fix that situation, you know what I mean?
Fuck, I just shut that.
Other than an odd number.
This is after the collapse, like after martial law is declared and all that shit. There's no more Congress, there's no more any of that. Just this Council of Governors, 10 of them with the president, that makes 11, they run the country. They make all the decisions. There's no more elected officials.
Well, part of the problem too is like everybody is under the impression or illusion for some reason that we're a democracy. This country is a democracy.
We're a republic.
Exactly, we're a republic. Exactly. So we don't really choose, you know, everyone who goes into office. Exactly. It's a semi-appointment.
But when you talk about destruction, don't you know that you can count me out? Don't you know it's gonna be